Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Elden Ring and we're doing another weapon video, and today's is top 5 best curved swords. So swords specifically intended for hacking and slashing, not a lot of stabbing going on here. Actually one of my favorite weapon types in the game, just given how fast and responsive it typically is as far as weapons go. So we're just going to go through all of them like we always do in these weapon videos. I'll show you where to find each and every one of these. I'll also go through their max stats, and all of these are going to be leveled all the way up, as are the skills, so that way they're equally tested against each other. And if the weapons have any special effects, I'll also show those. Of course, before we dive on in, if you like this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel because there's going to be a lot more of it. So let's just dive on in and start off with number 5. So at number 5, we have the Bandit's curved sword. As you can see, I'm wielding it right here, and this is actually one of the first weapons I ever picked up in the game. And so you can see here, as far as stats are concerned, we have a max attack power of 732 and an average guarded damage negation of 38. As far as attributes required to use this one, nothing too ridiculous. Strength of 11 and dexterity of 13, so pretty attainable, I would say, for a low-level player. And this one is, as far as finding this one goes, it's not super easy because it's just a random loot drop, but basically any skeleton in Limgrave gives you a chance of dropping this, and so the best places to go to find skeletons are places like, there we go, Death Touched Catacombs has quite a few skeletons in it. Pretty sure the Coastal Cave does. Stormfoot Catacombs might, Grovesite Cave might. So basically anywhere where you find skeletons in Limgrave here, basically this entire huge green region, they have a likelihood of dropping the Bandit's curved sword. I wish I could be more specific than that, but I have not found any evidence nor experienced any when I've tested it to show that certain areas drop it more likely. Just kill as many skeletons as you can and there's a decent chance one of them is going to drop this. That being said, if the skeleton is wielding a sword that looks a lot like this, that I don't know if it increases the chance, but that's where it dropped for me, was one that was wielding this, and I've had it picked up multiple times, so it's not just one enemy that drops it. Basically any skeletons can. So yeah, that's number 5, the Bandit's curved sword. As far as combat's concerned, obviously it's a decently powerful weapon, especially against low-level enemies like this. You can see that the quick attack is just a simple slash, whereas the heavy attack, especially if you're running, does a spin around and builds up. As for two-handed, we can watch and see what that does. It's basically just a heavy whirlwind strike. And so it's a decently powerful saber. I definitely enjoy it, and it's just got such a quick swing speed that I find the sabers to be one of my favorite weapon types, or curved weapons in general, to be one of my favorite weapon types in the game for melee damage. So that is the Bandit's curved sword. Alright, and so at the number 4 spot, we have the Wing of Astel. So you can see this one is kind of based off of an insect's wing, is pretty much just exactly what it looks like. And Astel is a mythological creature in this game. And so there's going to be 2 different Astel bosses you can fight, and I think one of them also drops one of these, or maybe not. But the best place to get it, and the only place that I've verified, is this chest right here. So I'll show you where that is, but first let's talk about stats. Alright, so for this one we have a max attack power of 789, so a decent chunk above the last, an average guarded damage negation of 286, and this one also has a special magical attack to it. So for attributes required on this one, it's low for strength, being only 7, a little bit higher for dexterity, being 17, and actually requiring 20 for intelligence, since it has that magical aspect to it. So that's the stats that you need to use this. As far as finding it, it can seem pretty difficult, but it's actually not that hard. So you can see we're down here in the Astel River region, and so basically to get to this spot, you have to start at the Astel River main, and then make your way down through, past the Old Palace ruins, through here. You're going to take a tunnel. In that tunnel, there's going to be a fork that diverges off. One way will bring you out towards Eternal City over here. So that's through here. You can see this tunnel. This way will take you out that way. Then this way will take you over to where we are now. You'll come up out by these ledges, and you just have to follow the ledges around the side of the cliff until you're able to drop over here. And once you get over to the top of this ruin here, you'll be able to open this chest. So you can see where I am on the map, right next to the Astel River downstream, and up from the Old Palace ruins. So yeah, once you follow that path that I told you, you'll be able to ledge jump all the way around until you're able to drop down onto here, and then you'll be able to open this chest and get the Wing of Astel. So that is how you get it. Alright, so as usual, you're not going to see anything super special with the light attack. It's pretty standard. Same thing can be said for the heavy attack. Again, it's just going to be that like spinning power attack, but this one does have a special magical attack, which is pretty fun. It sends out a wave of explosions, so watch. So it's actually a decently fun to use magical attack. And it disperses pretty quickly, or I should say sends out pretty quickly, so it's actually pretty useful in combat. So that is number 4, the Wing of Astel. Let's move on to number 3. All right, and so for number 3, our middle spot, we have the Eclipse Shotel. And so this one has got a pretty unique design. It looks almost like a Dothraki Eric from A Song of Ice and Fire, except for it's got a bunch of stuff along the outside. So typically, this is actually a historical weapon. The Arak is based off an Egyptian weapon, which his name escapes me. Maybe it was Shotel. But anyway, that looks a lot like this, but it's not used exactly like this, although the inside line would sometimes be sharpened. It was actually the outside that was often used as a slashing weapon, so the outside radius. So it would be strange to have a bunch of not sharp things on that because it would really make it less effective. Obviously, when you swing it, it is swung like a hook in the game, so it still makes perfect sense. As far as stats on this one go, it has a max attack power of 806, so a decent chunk above the last, a average guarded damage negation of 30.8, so actually a decent one for that. As far as attributes required, the strength is only 10, but the dexterity is 25 and faith is 30. So this one actually has slightly higher stats, especially if you're not going for a faith or otherwise magical build, because you do actually need 30 in faith, which can be pretty high. As far as attaining this weapon goes, it's actually one of the simpler ones, although it is in a late game location. So the way to get to it, so you have to be able to get up to the mountaintops of the giants. So basically you have to be able to get your way through the Forbidden Lands. If you haven't gotten there yet in the story, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it is a story progression that gets you up through here. Once you've gotten up here though, you make your way over to here, so you can see right where it is up in this top corner here by this lake. You make your way to Castle Sol, and once you've made your way into Castle Sol, you make your way to the southeast corner where you'll find the Church of the Eclipse. And of course there's just going to be some phantom soldiers out here, but you'll come in here and right up by this altar there will be a charred looking body, and on him will be the Shotel. So that's how you get it. It's like I said, it's not very hard to get, but it is in a late game location. So I can see how it might be challenging that way. There's not a whole lot extra special about the way this one attacks for standard attacks. As you can see, the quick attack was pretty standard for a curved sword, and the heavy attack does the same, like a spinning attack. Interestingly enough though, as you can see with the heavy attack, well, it doesn't like that, but when you're running, it, well, it looked like it did on that time. It looked like it used the outside radius. But anyway, the special thing about this one is that it has a magical power. So when you use your two-handed attack, you get to charge it up with Dark Flame, or Holy Flame, thus the Faith, and you can attack, and then it just does that extra flame damage. So it's a cool weapon. I like it. It's definitely one of my favorites for curved swords, especially if you're using the Holy Flame, which I quite enjoy. But that is number 3, the Eclipse Shotel. Let's move on to the number 2 spot, which is the second best curved sword in the game. Alright, and so for our number 2 spot, we have the BEASTMAN'S curved sword. So this one's got a pretty standard looking design for a fantasy curved blade. Obviously, it's probably a little bit oversized, but it does appear to have a normal curvature, and it has an interesting little hand guard thing with an extra spike on the front and on the bottom. Not super ahistorical, but the size and dimensions of it are all wrong. But of course, it's being used by magical monsters, so what are you going to do? As far as stats on this one are concerned, it has a max attack power of 810, so a small step above the Eclipse Shotel, and an average guarded damage negation of 33.5, so pretty good for that. As far as attributes required to use this one, it does have a strength requirement of 13 and a dexterity of 11, so neither of those being ridiculously high. So unfortunately, this one does not have a specific location where you can actually just find this in a chest or from a specific enemy. It is a random loot drop, so you're just going to have to find the enemy type that drops it and try to kill them until you get one. And so the location for doing that is over here in the Farum Azula, or Crumbling Farum Azula area. 2 different ways to get here. One is a story progression. You'll get there when you're coming after Malekith, and the other one is a trap chest we'll actually send to you here at one point. And there's a lot of high-level enemies around here, so it's definitely a end game or late game area unless you're just, you know, above average skill-wise. But anyway, the animals, or creatures I should say, that you're looking for are these guys. They are a decently difficult enemy, especially when they get in groups, but on their own you can take them out decently easily. But they're these Beastmen. And basically they will drop a couple different variants of beast-style weapons, and the curved sword is one of them. So basically you just have to keep killing them until it drops one. So the area that I like to go is the Crumbling Beast Grave. That way you can get 3 or 4 of them right here, and then there's a couple more the other way. You just got to keep killing them until they drop the one that you're looking for. So that is where you get the Beastman's curved sword. So for this weapon, it's a very standard weapon. No innate magical effects put onto it, and no passive effects or anything. Now, I've personally added one, so you can see I've got a glintstone shard in there so I can shoot out, you know, little projectiles, and also it's got the cold effect on it, so it will build up, frost build up. But that's, I'm pretty sure that's from me adding Ashes of War. I just like it because it's a real good standard physical damage weapon that you can upgrade to your, you know, your most wild wants and needs as far as Ashes of War are concerned. But it's just a real good starter, like base weapon that can be upgraded to be pretty incredible using different magical effects. But on its own, it's just really good. So that is number 2, the BEASTMAN'S curved sword. Let's move on to the final weapon on this list at number 1. All right, and so for the number 1 spot on this list, we have the Magma blade, which is a weapon that is decently rare in the game, and I think quite a few people are not yet aware of. But it is by far the best curved sword, or at least in my testing, it has proven to be. So as far as design goes, it's got a real standard look. It actually just looks like the BANDIT'S curved blade with a little bit less length, beefed up quite a bit, made fantasy, and obviously the blade is made out of molten magma, or semi-molten because it's holding its shape. I think it looks pretty cool, and it's definitely an excellent weapon. As far as stats on this one go, it has a max attack power of 902, so a decent step above the BEASTMAN'S curved sword at 810, so this one's almost 100 points higher than that. As far as the average guarded damage negation goes, we have 34.2, so just a step above the BEASTMAN'S curved sword, but also pretty dang good. This one has a magma shower magic attack, which is pretty fun. And as far as attributes required to use this one, they're actually not super high, with strength being 9, dexterity being 15, and faith being 16. So not the worst requirements there for a pretty dang good sword, and like I said, the best as far as curved swords are concerned. And this is one that is a beast drop, so unfortunately there is no specific, I mean there is a specific location, because there's one specific mob spawn that you have to go after to try to get it, but you can also get it multiple times, so if you want to dual wield these, that is possible. So basically, we have to go up to the Volcano Manor region in Mount Gelmir, and to get up to Volcano Manor, you have to start a mission down here. So you see we're over here in Liurnia, there's a telescope here, there's a little gazebo here, there's going to be a girl inside, she's going to need your help getting a necklace. You go up here to Boil Prawn Shack, get the necklace for her, either by killing the guy or by buying it from him, then bring it back, and then she'll invite you to Volcano Manor. It's the only way to get up here. Then once you're here, there's a chain of missions, and a couple in, you'll unlock the ability to explore the manor, and you'll be able to make your way over to the Temple of Iglay. So obviously if you've done all of that stuff, you can just fast travel here and skip all that. Once you're in here, you take this lift to get upstairs, and then you just follow this path. When you come up and around here, there's going to be an abductor virgin here. I already took care of it, so I didn't have to show you the stupidly long fight with one of my least favorite bosses. Come through this window here. Out this door. And then you see you're going to find these man serpents moving around. They're a decently tricky enemy to fight, especially in instances like that. But you're going to have to kill them, and oftentimes they will drop what you're looking for. So they drop volcanic stones basically every time. Sometimes they'll drop their little shields, and sometimes they'll drop the magma sword. So that one right there can drop it, and this one out here can also drop it. They're the only two that I've ever seen it dropped from, basically the ones that are actually wielding it. Ouch. And so it's those two right there. So like I said, it's kind of more of a pain sort of a weapon to get because it doesn't drop every time. But if you go from here, you get used to that path. And once you've done it, you can actually come up and around and unlock a secret way that brings you right up to here. So I'll show you that where that is. But you can just keep spawning in, killing them. Now there's another one down there. He does not drop it. So anyway, a little sidetrack aside. That secret entrance I'm talking about, you see this building that we came through? We came through that door to come into there. Once you come in here, you'll be able to open this door right here and use this lift. And this lift goes right down into that church, well, right next to it. So it's a much quicker shortcut to getting up there for trying to grind this so you can actually get the sword. So if you see, we come through here. There's a little door right here. And it'll bring us right into the church. So after you've done that the first time, you'll be able to just use that. And like I said, it's those enemies. You just got to kill them until you get it, but that is how you get this sword. As far as combat with this goes, again, it should be pretty obvious that it'll be decently standard. Quick attacks are powerful, and obviously it does flame damage because it's made out of magma. But nothing too ridiculously over the top. Again, the fun part is going to be from the magical attack, which is going to be that magma shower, which is just going to drop a bunch of magma all around you. So it's just an area of attack. but it does quite a bit of damage to your enemies. And if they walk in it, they just keep taking damage, so it's got a decently powerful attack. Again, its standard attack is also rather strong, so you can see pretty easy to cut through just a crowd with this thing. I love this sword. Like I said, it is possible to dual wield it because they will drop it multiple times. Obviously, it might take you a really long time to get it, but it is possible. That being said, I usually just pair it with a shield if I need to, or not, so that way I can use the two-handed magical attack. So that is the best curved sword in the game that I've been able to find, and based on all my testing, because there are quite a few more curved swords than the ones I've showed you here, and some of them are also pretty great and have lots of effects that made me almost consider them for this list. But out of all the testing I did with these 5 are the ones that I found to be the absolute best in this order. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.